can tell the world.
Hi, I'm Johnny. This is Johnny Likes, the show where I talk about movies that I like. And today I'm going to talk about a French film about a bunch of dancers having a very bad time. Today, Johnny likes Climax. Climax was released in 2019. It stars Sofia Boutella and a whole bunch of professional dancers. It was written and directed by indie darling Gaspar Noe. So a bunch of dancers come together for a rehearsal weekend at an isolated school building in rural France. They throw a party, but someone has punched the sangria with LSD and things spiral way out of control. I expect that this is quite a divisive film. It is what independent film lovers both love and hate. For some, it will be boring and pretentious. For others, it will be riveting and daring and like avant-garde and all the good stuff. I actually fall somewhere kind of in the middle. I found the improvisational nature of the dialogue a little bit too much for me. I would have liked a little bit more forethought and structure put into the characters and dialogue ahead of time instead of the natural feel that the director was kind of going for. Instead of being natural, it kind of felt forced and flat to me. I did, however, enjoy the music, the dancing and music choices. Abrasive mid-90s techno is my jam. Watching these dancers do their thing was really great. This is probably the closest that I'll ever actually come to really enjoying a musical. Not that this is a musical in the traditional sense at all, but there is music and dancing. It's just not characters bursting out into song. Thankfully, I did find the dancing scenes to be so beautiful. It made me wish that I had that sort of talent. Not that I'm gonna do anything about it, but it made me envious. My biggest complaint about the movie is actually just the amount of screaming in the last half of the movie. Once you realize that words have kind of left the building and it's all just yelling, it kind of takes you out of the film a little bit. At least it did to me. It started to annoy me and took me out of the experience. So the film opens with bios on each of the characters filmed on VHS, and for the first 15 minutes or so, we're just watching footage of people talking about themselves on video screens. And it is a little long and a little bit boring. Once that's done, however, we do get to see the troupe in action. We get an extended and gorgeous choreographed dance sequence from everyone in the group, and it's filmed all in one take. It's very creative and visually stunning. After the rehearsal, we get to the slowest and most difficult part of the film for me. I like to call it the high school dance section of the film. It's where our characters mingle at the start of the party and while we listen in on their mostly inane and kind of boring conversations. However, once we enter the third act and the drugs start to kick in and everyone starts to lose it a little bit, I found my attention was brought back for the remainder of the film. The characters making the choices they do and the actions and performing the actions that they do was at times melodramatic and over the top, but I still kind of fell for it. So for the last 45 minutes or so, we follow the characters around the building in a completely unbroken take. The camera is doing some wild and inventive things. It's not just following them eye level. Again, these techniques will either make film lovers, it'll either delight them or it'll have them rolling their eyes back in their heads like impossibly hard. So we see all sorts of taboo behavior. Basically, the ids of all the dancers are coming to the forefront and they're just getting released. There's lots of violent and sexual urges being brought to the forefront. Some are gut-wrenching, others are a bit less so. It is one of the most surreal and nightmarish scenes I can think of. Like, it's literally nightmarish, like you're in a nightmare and can't quite get out. Everything and everyone spirals gloriously out of control, and it's really hard to look away even when it does get disturbing. So we've got amazing and gorgeous visuals guiding us along on a surreal journey into madness. I'd recommend that if you're in the mood for something a little bit off the beaten path, you're looking to experiment a little bit, give this film a shot. I don't guarantee you'll like it, but it is definitely an experience. Actually, I'm sure a lot of people out there will not like it. I personally overall found it to be interesting, with the highs outweighing the lows. I'm really glad that stuff like this is being made. I might not love it, but I really do appreciate it. I do like that it's something different. I'm gonna give this a 3.75 out of 5. If you like this, I would recommend Mother for another divisive film experience where the third act goes way off the rails. Suspiria, I prefer the remake actually for more dance stuff, but if you want to watch the original, sure. And Possession, the 1982 film with Sam Neill. That one, I don't know. I feel like they share a little bit of the same DNA. Maybe it's the amount of screaming. Maybe some of the performances. Whatever reason, the two in my brain are like, yeah, these are cousins. Quick editor's note here. I noticed that 2 out of 3 of the videos that I recommend were visible in the montage shown at the beginning of the film. The scenes where we see the characters talking about themselves all have books and movies visible on the side of the monitor. These are in hindsight, obviously, where the director took inspiration when making this movie. Similar to if, like, Trent Reznor was wearing a Skinny Puppy t-shirt when performing on stage. Suspiria is fairly obvious because of the dance theme in both of the films. Now that I've had additional time to think about why I thought that Possession was like a cousin to this film, it kind of makes sense now. The scene where Sofia Boutella is thrashing around on screen that I showed a brief clip of earlier is very similar to at least one scene in Possession where Isabelle Adjani is doing basically the same thing. It's at least inspired in part by Possession, and that's why I made the kind of unconscious connection in my brain. I just thought that it was indeed kind of pertinent for my review that I mentioned that I did notice these things, even if I wasn't as aware of them as I would have liked. So what's Gaspar Noé's best film? What's the best non-musical musical? What's the best improv drama? Oh, I guess by improv, this movie had like 5 pages of script, and like all the dialogue was improv. So that's what I mean when I say like it is improv. So yeah, so what's your take on the best improv drama out there? Let me know in the comments. And if you could do me a favor and like and subscribe, that would be super duper. It's quick, free, and relatively painless. That's my little catchphrase. That's what it is. Thanks for stopping by and watching me rant about movies. You can tune in next time and see what else Johnny likes.